this side of the third row seats down, no problem. And I've been promising you a little bit of controversy this entire video. Well, yep, there it is. The seat does slide too far back to allow me to power fold the third row of seats down. Again, I think those tracks are just slightly misaligned on where they installed them. Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey.
I'm Holly.
Back there is Tucker.
Yep, that's me.
And we've done it. We've made the trifecta. We are in the third of the triplets from General Motors in their large crossovers, this being the Chevrolet Traverse in the High Country trim. Despite its name, it is not the top trim in the Traverse lineup. How does this luxurious Chevy crossover fit our family of three? Stay tuned. All right, Holly. As I alluded to, this is the third of three similar vehicles from General Motors. Ironically enough, we've all gotten them in the same blue paint, all with different names, but this one is Lakeshore Blue Metallic. But what are your thoughts on this Chevrolet Traverse?
Well, I really like the styling of this one. And of course the color. The color is really pretty. And then with the, not silver, but like chrome grille and accents and stuff, I just think it's like really, really sleek. So
chrome accents on this High Country trim. We do get the chrome grille. We get chrome accents on the wheels or machine-faced wheels. The actual top trim, it's the RS trim that like blacks out everything and gives you a different...
So no chrome. It's just like black.
Yep, shiny black.
Grille and stuff. Ooh, yeah. I think that would be pretty too.
Yeah. I've already tested one here on the channel. It was black on black, but unfortunately it was dirty. So maybe we can get an RS in our future here, but
well, that says something for the black though. Yes. Always.
Yes. And that one also only gets a red on black interior, whereas we have options here. We've got this sky cool gray, as they call it, with bronze accents. What are your thoughts moving inside of this one?
It's really pretty on the inside. I'm interested. Is this a luxury vehicle?
It is their luxury trim.
It definitely feels luxury.
Yeah. What stands out to you?
Well, I like the two-toned seats, particularly the cream and the black, so I like that a lot. But then there's some other different texture accents like up here that's really nice, and the chrome.
Which all the little bronze accents are because this is the High Country. It's kind of etched in here to this carbon fiber look design up front, which again would change if we had the RS.
Sure. Yeah, it's really pretty. I like the design and style. And I just now noticed this power button right there. Can you turn off the screen?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, that mutes it and turns the sound back on. But if the vehicle weren't on and you wanted the screen, because it does control a lot of things, including your headlight controls, and everything is in the screen now, that is the button that you would use for
interesting.
Accessing that when the vehicle is not on, because Chevy is really double, triple, quadrupling down on this screen interface. We see it in Blazer EV, we see it in Tahoe, we see it in Suburban, we see it in this, we see it in Equinox EV. We see this exact same 17.7 inch freeform display and 11-inch display behind the steering wheel on a lot of their vehicles.
Yeah, but is this different where it has the 11-inch screen come out?
Oh, on all of those vehicles, it is the exact same setup.
Interesting. Because I've just now noticed this, and I do kind of like it versus like the Hyundais that have like the one. Although I like that too. Yeah. It's just a different look, but I still like it.
Well, even the Buick we had that rode on the same platform as this had one big curved, funky shaped screen behind the back. It was a 27-inch screen. But so the brands have really differentiated themselves, especially in the interiors. They've all got big screens. The GMC had that big tablet-like 15-inch screen. This one's got an even bigger 17-inch screen.
Yeah.
But what are your other thoughts on the interior? There's some gloss back.
Yeah, there's a lot of gloss back, and I don't love that. And even this, that I love this different looking texture. It's still smooth, and you can still see all the little dust particles
Yeah.
on it. And this is like a very clean car, newly clean.
Mm-hmm.
So if if it were my car, I don't clean it that often, you would definitely be able to see some dust on it.
Yeah.
Does this have a head-up display?
No. And you
So
cannot
what's
get
that
it.
thing?
That is where one could go. But
Oh,
not on any trim does the
Interesting.
Traverse offer a head-up display.
Okay.
Which we did get on both of the other vehicles in the GMC Acadia and the Buick Enclave.
Right.
That ride on the same platform. Very interesting omission.
It is an interesting omission.
I knew you were going to ask that. I spent some time on Build and Price today, and nowhere on there could you option a head-up display. So.
Okay. And there's a lot going on behind the steering wheel. But
good to know that you can change it. You can do Google Maps. You can do, because we're plugged into Apple CarPlay, you can do Apple Maps. You can do this. You can do a very simple view right there, if all you wanted to see was.
Well, that's better for sure than all that other stuff.
Yeah, just clean it up.
I like it cleaned
Posted
up.
speed limit, your current speed.
Now, if you open my computer, tabs for days, but behind my
Not while
steering
you're
wheel,
driving.
I don't want any of that. I just want the important information, especially since I don't have a head-up display.
Right. But things that this does have, GM safety seat, so you got a little buzz in your booty. If you're coming up on things or going down our steep driveway. It also has Super Cruise as you're touching the sensor right there. Don't worry, I won't make you use it. If you want to see her use it, go see our GMC Acadia video. But so there are pros and cons, some weird additions on here, and missing a head-up display. I don't know.
There is two-person memory.
Yeah.
So that's
For you,
nice.
not for me, but that's okay.
But that's okay.
Comfortable seats.
You're on the firmer side.
Yeah. Heated and ventilated up here.
Yes.
Heated second row captain's chairs back there for Tucker. Tucker, how's your space back there?
It is great.
Okay.
Where should we go from here? What should we talk about next?
Putting in my child safety seat.
And then we'll talk third row and rear storage. Climbing into the second row of seats here in the Traverse, you find it is very roomy. I do have this seat where I've been riding the entire time, but this seat is all the way back. We'll talk more about that when we get to the storage section. I do have nice amenities like an armrest, though it is only up or down. It doesn't lock into place anywhere else. Just something I should note, as some competitors do have a ratcheting style armrest. But yeah, this is up or down. But it is well placed and does complement these heated captain's chairs in the second row. Those controls are on the back of the center console with the standard tri-zone climate controls. Yes, all Traverse models do get tri-zone automatic climate controls. The controls are back here and the vents are in the ceiling. Our particular model does not have the $1,500 standalone panoramic sunroof, so we get these round vents kind of in front of my face, which I feel would work very well for a front-facing car seat, but maybe straight down on baby's head for rear-facing car seats. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. If you get the panoramic sunroof, you get one here on the side that is a little bit further back, and I think that works a little bit better for rear-facing car seats. Just something I've noticed. We do have two cup holders on the back of the center console, but no center console here. We do have a pass-through that is wide enough for climbing in the third row if you wanted to. Storage back here, storage back here, storage in the door, storage in the door, storage down here, two USB-C ports, a 3-prong power outlet, lots of storage even here in the second row. But we're going to go ahead and open the door and get Tucker's Graco Extended Fit child safety seat. This is the same child seat he rode in when he was rearward facing, and wouldn't you know it, I don't have to do a darn thing to the front seat right here. There is plenty of room in the second row for a rear facing car seat. Huge kudos to Chevy for figuring all of that out. But again, we'll talk about this second row seat placement in just a bit. We do have exposed lower latch points in both of these seats back here, and top tethers on the backs of both of these captain's chairs back in the back. So it should be fairly easy to install here from the side of the vehicle. It is a little tall, so I do have to pop in there, but there is plenty of room to get all the way around in this one. And then I can snug it down very nicely from the side here. This does slide forward, but I feel like it comes just a little bit short of the best sliding mechanism. I feel like they maybe need to move the tracks forward just a little bit. Again, you'll see more of that in a second. And then we do have the top tether attachment point back here on the back. That's easy to find blindly because, again, I cannot see it. They're very easy install from the side of the vehicle, but a nifty trick that I really like, there is a button here on the side that does release the seat so that now I can climb into the third row, even with a child seat still in place. Though please do check your owner's manual of both your seat and your vehicle to make sure if this is functional and covered by your car seat design. When you put it back in place, you can see it does not slide all the way back, which is actually where that passenger seat is right now. We'll talk about that when we get to the way back. Car seat out of the way, push the button. You can see without the weight of the car seat, it kind of does all the work for you. And it does give you a nice way to climb back into the third row as an adult. And we'll see exactly what that means for bringing in a car seat. But yeah, let's move to that third row really quickly. Sitting in the third row, I've got a good amount of room. My booty is not directly on the floor, so my knees aren't directly under my chin. It is a comfortable seating position. These are power fold seats, but they don't recline. So this is how I'm going to be sitting if I'm riding back here. I do get air vents in the ceiling just above my head. I do get a USB-C power point right here. I get a cup holder, a little bit of storage, an armrest, all hard plastics back here. So a little bit of a knock. The center seat belt does come from the ceiling. It is not integrated into the seat and does detach down here so that when you fold these seats down, you do get a nice clear pathway for all of your stuff. But I would say this center seat is a little narrow. I don't know that you're going to be getting 3 people or car seats across back here unless the people or car seats are small and narrow, but there are 3 seat belts back here. So in theory, it could be done. This is where it sits when you bring it back from folding it forward. It does slide back a little bit further, but now I've moved this seat back all the way back, and to ride back here, yeah, I'm gonna have to man spread just a little bit because I'm sitting a little crooked. My left knee does need to use the space in between the bucket seats here. So it is a little tight on space when you bring this second row all the way back, though there are 3 rows. Surely you can find the space inside for some comfort and convenience for all passengers. But we do have a nice button release on the back of the seat right there so that I can get back out of the vehicle if and when I need to. Now, bringing in Tucker's car seat. Let's see how well it fits in place, or that second row seat. Move forward. There we can get it in very nicely. I can climb in here. Now, these headrests do fold down when the seat is folded flat, so they don't raise and lower, giving me just a thin little pass through there to get my top tether in. And there are no lower latch points in this third row of seats. Competitors do offer that, at least on one of the outboard seats, but there are no lower latch points anywhere in this third row of seats. So you will be using the seatbelt method to install a car seat here in the third row. And we do have top tethers all the way across in the back, which I guess now I get to bring this back out and we can talk about cargo storage in the way back and some oddities about the overall design of this one. I'm going to start the conversation about the rear cargo area way back here on this one, because this does have Chevy's new proximity key remote opening rear hatch. That's a mouthful, and definitely not the branding that they give it, but I can't have this key on my person and simply walk up to the back of the vehicle and hands-free open this rear hatch just by standing close to the back of the vehicle. It'll beep a few times at me, letting me know I should get out of the way, and then it proceeds to open. No longer do I have to kick or dance with my foot underneath that rear bumper to get the hatch open. I like that a lot, though I have noticed it is very sensitive. So if you hear it beep once, you better get out of the way because it'll probably end up opening on you if you're just walking behind the vehicle. Normally, that can be turned on and off from the big freeform display up front, but I did want to show you that in action. As we move back here, I am very impressed with the cargo space back here. Over 20 cubic feet behind the third row, and over 50 behind the second row, over 90 in total. So this is a very spacious vehicle on the inside. More than enough space for 7 people and all their luggage. So very impressed with that, including a little bit of hidden storage down here. Oh, look, there is my backpack underneath the false load floor. That does stay in place. You can see we do have a temporary spare hidden underneath. You just unscrew those and you can get to that 18-inch spare for our 22-inch wheels. But very nice cargo space back here that can be expanded with the push of a few buttons here on the passenger side. I'll go ahead and power fold this side of the third row seats down. No problem, because I left that seat where it was after leaning it forward and accessing the third row of seats, though the passenger seat over here is in its furthest back position, and I've been promising you a little bit of controversy this entire video. Well, yep, there it is. The seat does slide too far back to allow me to power fold the third row of seats down. Again, I think those tracks are just slightly misaligned on where they installed them, because that is a slight problem. I did mention over 90 cubic feet of storage space. That is when you push these buttons right here and fold the second row of seats down. And you can see, yes, lots of cargo space. If I do that to the right side, I can fold the seat down just a little bit further, but the headrest is still hitting the seat back. So this is just a glaring design issue that Chevy needs to find a fix for. I know they prioritize second row seat space, but this is laughable that I am now going to have to walk around and manually slide that second row seat forward and then come back here to the third row or the back of the vehicle to fold that third row the rest of the way down. But lots of cargo space when you do. I can also power fold the third row of seats up, but yes, again, showing you some of the laughable ways in which this interior is packaged. The headrest is getting stuck on the back of that second row, and I'm gonna have to try just a few times actually get this third row of seats up. The motor just is not strong enough to overcome the friction, and it gives up after just a little bit trying to pull the seat up with the friction of the headrest on the back of that second row seat. I am so close to getting it up right now. It's just a little at a time. I could reach in there and grab it, or I could go around and move that second row of seats, but boom, finally we get that third row of seats up. Unfortunately, to get the second row of seats up, yes, I am gonna have to go do that manually. And as I showed you, this is a power operated hatch. It does open up wide enough for me at 5'10" that I'm not worried about hitting my head, and I can power close it with the push of that button right there. All right, so while we're talking about the interior of this, tons of room in the second row, plenty of room in the third row for adults, a lot of room in the back for luggage. Yeah. We could put all our luggage in the back and leave the third row of seats up. Mm-hmm. Something that was not true of the last big body-on-frame SUV we had from Infiniti. So, yeah, very impressed with how much stuff and people you can fit in this.
For sure. Well, I sure hope so. It's like driving a house.
Yeah. Does it feel that big?
Yes.
Really?
It does.
Okay. We'll come back to that. But as we're turning on the historic brick streets of downtown Tyler, Texas, Tucker, how's your wobbly head?
It's kind of smooth. I feel like I've felt this feeling before.
Yeah, here comes a big bump. Holly, what are your thoughts?
That was a lot smoother than I was expecting it to be.
Especially on these very large 22-inch wheels on low-profile tires. Typically, that means a rougher ride, but it's doing a really good job.
This is really smooth, yeah.
Doing a really good job. All right, so you said this thing feels really big. How so? Just looking around you, it feels big?
Looking around me, it feels big. It's heavy when you're trying to turn around like I did a complete 180 just a second ago. And it doesn't have the shortest turn radius.
No.
It's pretty big. In particular, I had great experience with it this morning when I went to the gym.
Yeah.
Everybody's at the gym for their New Year's resolutions.
Right.
And Saturday is already a busy day. Anyways, 10 o'clock is the sweet spot when everyone is there. And people are pulling in. There's just like
Chaos.
It's a huge gym.
Yeah.
So it's chaos. People are pulling in. People are walking by. People are coming in, coming out, blah, blah, blah. I had to pull in and pull out to park this beast. About 3 times,
Really?
maybe 4 times. I was the one that I'm like, I know. If you can't drive a big car, don't get it. Like, that was me. I'm apologizing. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to drive this big car, which I know if you lived in it, I would get better at. But it is a big car. If you are not used to driving a big car, it feels like a big car. It drives like a big car. It turns like a big car. The steering wheel feels like a big car. So you would have to get used to it.
Yeah. Interesting. Did you notice the camera shortcut for the 360 cameras?
No, I didn't, but the cameras came on and were efficient the entire time I was parking. It did not turn off, which is great.
Yes.
For when I was parking, which definitely helped, but did not keep me from having to repark 3 or 4 times, because those lanes are, the parking spots, the lanes are not very far apart, not very wide, and then the parking spots themselves are pretty small. Like, this car just fits in the parking spots. And then when you're in Texas, like, I'm trying to park between this big beast and this big beast, like, and make sure that nobody's gonna like open the car door and ding the side and stuff like that.
I feel like these are slightly different opinions than you had in the GMC, all of which are applicable. It is a big vehicle.
I did say the GMC was really big.
Yeah.
That's the one we took to West Texas. Yes, that was a really big.
That's the one we took to Six Flags.
The Acadia felt smaller.
Yeah, same size.
It felt smaller.
Interesting.
It turned smaller.
Same size.
Maybe it was the way it drove that made it feel smaller. Maybe it was its stature. I don't know. This one feels like a big hoss of a mama.
Okay. Okay. Very interesting. What are your thoughts on power? I know you've already said it feels like a big hoss of a mama. Does it feel slow and sluggish? Like it's not gonna go?
Yeah.
Okay.
It feels like it takes it a minute.
Okay. Very interesting. Thoughts on how heavy the steering is?
It's heavy.
Okay.
So just like driving like this or like regular turns or whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
But again, when I did the 180 or parking it feels heavy.
Very interesting. Glad to know.
Maybe I'm just weak today. I don't know.
They worked it out of
Maybe
you.
it just stressed me out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, one thing we haven't talked about just yet, we got a little off script, storage in here. We talked storage in the way back, but storage up front here. We've got this little hidden panel that I'm sure we would always leave open because of the gloss black.
Yeah,
Hide as much gloss black as possible.
Depends on what crap we have in there.
It is rubberized on the bottom, so it's not going to like rattle around if you put stuff in here.
Yeah, I like that little cubby.
Yeah.
And then I like this little cubby that's holding my snacks.
You've got your apples, which there is an even deeper hole down there. And then underneath the center console here, we've got some pass-through storage, but you sit so far forward, you've been asking me to grab stuff out of it because you can't quite get it over on your side.
Yeah, I have to have my seat so far up.
Yeah.
But it is a nice little size. It fits my purse. It fits our little go bag, which is a pencil bag.
We've got a Qi wireless charger in a very interesting place right up here in the center. GMC had it hidden here in the center armrest.
Hidden.
Yeah. I don't know that I like it taking up the entirety of this compartment. I don't know. Why is it in the middle? Why isn't it off to one side? But you've got USB-A, USB-C in there. You've got some auxiliary power in there. So you've got options. Got decent sized storage in the doors. See how our glove box is very nice and large.
Big, yeah.
So I like that a lot. Might as well pull out the window sticker, huh? We're about there.
We're about there. What's
The
fuel
EPA
efficiency?
rates it at 20 city, 27 highway, 23 combined. And this one is a front-wheel drive model. You can get all-wheel drive, which does decrease those fuel economy numbers a smidge.
And I'm sure increases the price of the car overall.
Yes. We'll go in here. Trip information. We're currently averaging 20 mpg. We're in the city. Spot on, babe. Good job.
I do what I can.
Yep. All right. This is missing an optional extra. Both previous vehicles did have a panoramic sunroof. You can get it on this, but it's a standalone option. I also note this is, again, the front-wheel drive model, not the all-wheel drive that both the Buick and the GMC were. And this is also the more affordable of the three.
Okay.
So,
this is the more affordable of the three?
Yep. Buick and GMC are more pricey than this one.
What is this one called?
Chevrolet Traverse High Country.
Okay, I'm going to go with 62.
No. Too high.
55.
$54,995.
Okay. I feel like that's a fair price for this.
Does that change kind of your thoughts on it a little bit?
No.
No?
I mean, if you're looking for a big
people mover,
big people and crap mover, you want to fit everything you can in a car.
Yep.
Then this is definitely one I would look at.
Yeah.
I don't see my next car being this big of a car, or SUV or a crossover.
Well, we don't need a big three-row.
We don't need a big one either. So, but if you do, I would definitely be looking at this. I think the price is right. I think, the luxury, I feel nice driving it.
Yep.
I feel like it's a nice luxury car. The only thing I would say that it's missing is the head-up display, which you can definitely get at this price point in a lot of other vehicles.
Yes.
But
the materials in this are a little bit of a step down. Like this is rubber instead of some of the other materials that we saw on the Buick and the GMC.
but it looks nice.
Yeah. So
it's not like
cheap.
It
doesn't feel
It's
cheap.
not cheap.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, if you want to see more from Holly, from Tucker, some behind-the-scenes stuff, go find her at Facebook and Instagram at Female Consumer. You can find all things GT Garage Talk at GT Garage Talk, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, you name it, all at GT Garage Talk. Or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com, where you'll find links to everything, including our award-winning podcast. But as for us, in this big family vehicle, until next time, dear heads.
Bye.
Thank you, Tucker.
This is so big. There's an echo in here.
I know.
Does it have one of those speak to the back?
I'm trying to figure out what this button does. Testing.
We're almost breaking anything.
We are.